Hi, I'm Phoenix Rising Star, and welcome to January, the month of joy. Every month this year, we're offering a different concept, high-level concept to raise your vibration and that of the planet, and January is the month of joy. So I have here a very special person by the name of DebbieJo, who's a friend of mine, and she has such an inspiring, healing story about joy that I asked her if she'd be willing to share it with us. And just wait until you hear this. This is going to change how you approach absolutely everything in your life. So thank you so much, DebbieJo, for being on the call, and welcome.
Thank you, Phoenix. Oh my goodness, I have spirit bumps from the top of my head to my toes.
Well, so did I when I heard your story. Good heavens. So maybe start at the beginning with what was going on with you, and then what did you do with that predicament that was handed to you?
Okay, so going back to, well, for the last several years I've had neck pain, but back into August of last year, it became almost debilitating with the nerve issues, not being able to really sit still, do anything, move around, but I'm a mover and a shaker, so I continued to move through the pain until I couldn't. And it was on November 1st, I got in with the doctor after waiting 4 weeks to get an MRI, and he said, we are going to do a fusion of 5 levels in your neck, C3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And at that point, I was maybe in shock because I thought, well, I might have to have surgery and I might not. It really can't be that bad. And then when he said that, I was like, oh, my goodness. But he said that 2 levels were pushing right into the spinal cord. There was no longer any protective fluid. And the 2 levels above that, the nerves that were coming out of those discs were completely compromised. So I took a chance of any kind of movement or anything that I was doing of completely what's the word I'm looking for? Disabling myself, paralyzing myself by severing my spine. And up until that day, Phoenix, I was unloading rocks from the back of my truck, helping to create a medicine wheel. I was horseback riding. I was country dancing and flipping and dipping and swinging. And so everything stopped on that day. And so I wasn't afraid. When he told me all this, I had the feeling that this was something that was necessary, not only on the physical aspect, but the emotional and spiritual aspect of my life. I felt calm and peaceful about it. In my line of work, which is yours, the healing fields that we're in, I decided that I would, prior even to the day of finding out surgery, I had been going to everyone that I knew, trying every modality that I was aware of, and even new ones that were presented to me, and having dreams. And in some of my dreams, I would see that when they opened my neck, a lot of energy would come out of there, and it was, I don't want to say dark as in a negative connotation. It was just dark as in heavy, having been there for a long time. And I would see it just flying out. And I had a friend working on me doing massage, and during that massage, she had the same visual. And throughout a couple of other things, people would say, this is very old stuff. But thinking it was mine, we were wanting to release the emotional components that were attached to my neck. Then finding out it was actually ancestral, which makes a lot of sense. So anyway, I decided I was going into this in the vibration of joy, which was exciting for me because after finding out different things with numerology, after I'd made that decision, the numerology of 2019 equals a 3, and 3 is the number for joy. And all just started to falling into place. But I set up the way I wanted to approach this. It just kept coming to me, and I thought, okay, first and foremost, I'm setting up a Facebook post, and I explained what was happening in my life. A lot of people had been asking, and so I just put it all out there. And I asked everyone to participate in my healing journey of joy, is what I called it. And I asked for everyone that wanted to participate to please put on there a memory that they had that was associated with me that gave them joy. And I said at the end, I said, this is twofold. You will experience the vibration of joy as you remember it and share it with me, and I will also feel it and experience it from you, filling me in, letting me know about it. So that was a wonderful thing to do. There were so many comments, personal messages or text messages, that it was overwhelming. It was beautiful. And I thought, okay, well, this is going through the whole thing. So I hope you're ready, doctors and nurses, because here I come.
Give them a new paradigm, yes.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, well, whoever's going to be with me, which was my mother, my stepdad, and both of my children, a son and a daughter, I prepared my daughter a couple of days in advance to be ready to share with me a memory of joy. But my son and my mom and my stepdad, I brought it up to them the day at the hospital. But let me back up to the night before. I was sitting there at home and my doctor called, which was very surprising to me, but I was very grateful for the phone call, and asked me if I was nervous and if I was ready. And I have to tell you the little joke he said, what time did they tell you to be there? And I said, 11. He goes, oh, good. I'll be sober by then.
Oh, no.
And I said, you and me both. I can't eat or drink anything after midnight. So right then I knew, he's got a great sense of humor. Yeah. So we talked for a minute, and he said, do you have any questions? I said, absolutely, I do. I said, do you happen to have any memory that you can go back to that creates joy for you? And he sat there for a minute and just kind of paused. And I said, the reason I'm asking is because I'm creating this healing journey of joy. And he said, absolutely. He said, I will not perform a surgery if I am not in a positive state of mind. If I have had a disagreement with my wife or something's going on with my children, I will actually cancel surgeries.
Wow.
So we had a great conversation about that. He shared with me that he had actually studied with a Chinese doctor that taught them how to respect the tissue, and not only the patient, but the tissue during surgery and the cells. And then he said something that I thought was comical, because I've been doing this for a long time. He said, do you know there's even medical studies going on now that show that our thought processes help in our healing processes? And I'm like, really?
No kidding.
Yeah. I said, that's great news. And I said, you and I are on the same page. So
oh, wow. He was the perfect doctor for you.
Oh, absolutely. And he said, tomorrow when you get there, he said, we'll talk about this joy face to face. I said, thank you very much. So anyway, I get to the hospital, and, I'm in the pre-op room, and every single person that walked into my room got the talk of joy. Nice. If you're going to be in there helping me, okay, let's have this conversation. Go back to a time. And everyone that would come in, they'd be, how are you? I'm doing great. How are you doing? Are you having a good day? Is everything going well? Are you positive?
Nice. Oh, that's so good.
It was wonderful. And nobody acted like they were inconvenienced with me bringing that up all the time. So anyway, the anesthesiologist comes in, and I'm talking to him about it, and he's doing well. He's in that positive state of mind. And I said, please give me a 1-minute warning before I'm completely out. And he looked at me kind of confused. And I said, I have a song prepared to go under to. And then I also have a song prepared to come out of the anesthesia to. I had my children make sure that they had these ready. Prior to that, my mother shared her, thoughts and feelings, and my stepfather, and my daughter had hers for later, and my son, we all went through that. And so he said, well, that's about right now, your 1 minute. And so my daughter starts playing. I've had several people lately say, I don't yeah, I don't picture you as an Uncle Cracker fan, but anyway, these two songs of his I love. So the first song was the song "Smile" by Uncle Cracker, and that song just, it touches me in a way that I can't even explain. And in there it talks, it says, "You make me smile," and people say, "Well, who are you thinking of when that happens?" And the honest answer, as I was laying there in that bed, the honest answer is what I believe is Creator.
Right.
And it's interesting to put that image along with the song. But anyway, so my daughter starts playing it, and we all start singing it. Next thing I know, I'm waking up. So
Wow.
I went under with the vibration of a song that brings me great joy. And coming out of it, my son played for me another Uncle Cracker song that's called "Damn It Feels Good to Be Me." And I thought, how appropriate for this one.
That's great. Oh my God.
And that song also just brings me joy. When I hear that song, I can just see myself, somewhere in the summer driving down the road, laughing, friends, whatever. It just,
Wow.
for me, they're very uplifting. So anyway, the first night was a horrible night, but the next day people walked in and looked at me like, oh my gosh. And it was, all I can say, it was a complete transformation from the night after surgery to the next day. I continued to heal remarkably. I came home on a Wednesday. The last pain pill I took was on a Friday morning.
Wow.
And muscle spasms, I didn't have any. I did have some problem, swallowing and choking and stuff like that, but nothing like they said could happen. So afterward, I had a couple of people do some healing work on me. You and your group were, one of them. And I'll share what I remember of that, and you can add too if you'd like. But the short version, the people saw similar things that relate to me as ancestral. Like, I think I remember one of your students saying that she saw a lady in like a pilgrim dress. And then there was another student, or maybe it was the same lady, that was pushing a broom.
Yes.
And to me, that says, okay, the older version of the lady in a pilgrim dress, that's ancestral, and the broom is, let's get every little last speck of this shit, excuse my language, out of here.
Yes.
I should have asked permission to swear.
Oh no, it's fine.
So that was very, very interesting. And I remember distinctly your words at the end saying that the angels shared with you the message of, this is over. It ended with me. I was the one that stepped forward and said, hey, I'll take care of this for my generations to come.
Yes.
And yeah, and that was absolutely beautiful, because you didn't know all the things that I was seeing and experiencing prior to, that was all along the same message. So it was beautiful. I had a friend that did her technique she calls running energy. And so we did that a couple of days after I got home. And when she looked into my energy, she just was like, oh my gosh, you don't even look like you've had a trauma. Everything was just bright and beautiful. And she didn't know the previous story either. So I just kind of giggled, and I said, well, let me tell you how I set this up. So I was telling her about all the conversations of joy and the music and everything. And at that point she said, oh my gosh, this story is going. The energy of the story has already left Idaho. It's into Utah. It's into Colorado. She said, this is spreading, this whole, vibration of joy. She said, it's amazing. Yes. And I might be leaving something out, but the whole ancestral thing was a big thing. When I had people work on me, they had divine help, divine energy showing up to help. And so I know that this had to happen in order for me to progress, and obviously for my ancestors to feel at ease, I guess, on wherever they're at. The other cool thing was even though during the time of waiting for the MRI and waiting for the day of surgery, and maybe not waiting so patiently, but as it ended up, the 6 weeks, because that was the whole thing, 6 weeks from surgery, that was the date. However, the full recovery time is 6 to 12 months, but 6 weeks, you got to wait 6 weeks. Well, the sixth week, the day of the sixth week was on December 31st. And I thought, how appropriate.
Wow, isn't that something? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Talk about coming full circle and coming to completion and letting go of the old and stepping into the new year, the year of creativity and joy. And oh my gosh, what an inspiring story about the power of intention.
Absolutely. And I would suggest anyone that is having, something like that, or even anything that brings up an uncomfortable feeling in their life, to set the stage, to prepare it ahead of time if they have that time to do so. And I've not ever, well, I can't say I've never done that in my life, but this was the biggest one that I've done. And it was amazing how everybody who sees me or talks to me, they're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you're doing that, or you're doing this, or you're healing so well. And yeah, it's been wonderful.
Well, and you sound amazing, considering you just had some really huge surgery not that long ago. You sound energetic, you sound alert, you sound happy, you sound pain-free. That just shows how the power of intention carries through, not just for the moment, but long after, and speeded up your healing process.
Absolutely. I'm still using it because, of course, now, I'm stiff, and they want me to do physical therapy. I'm not big on traditional physical therapy, so I'm doing some myofascial release on my own. But still, I'm infusing that vibration of joy every time when I touch my neck, or I'm doing some cross fiber friction on the scar. The scar looks amazing. Also, from the day I took this Band-Aid off, I'm like, oh my goodness. But so anytime I touch it, anytime I'm doing any release movements with it, I just continue to infuse the joy vibration.
Nice. What a difference that has made. And you are so inspiring with this story. I'm in awe. I'm just in awe. So do you think that was just a divine inspiration to start with?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't me.
And don't you want
it is. I woke up one morning and I thought, this is what I'm going to do. And I'll be honest with you, Phoenix, there was, I don't know, maybe a week or so before, that ego self says, oh my goodness, you can't do this.
Yeah.
What are people going to think when you put out there on Facebook that you want them to tell you something joyful about you, right?
Oh, God.
Those are things that people wait and do when you're having a celebration of life after you've died.
Right. And it's so nice to hear it now when you can appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And that's one thing about our humanness. And I share this with clients and in some of my workshops as well. It's like, we're so prone to talk about the uncomfortable stuff. And one example I like to use is if you walk into Walmart one day and some complete total stranger looks at you and says, oh my goodness, I love your hair. I love the color of your hair. And you're like, oh, thank you. And then you leave and go about your day. You may share it with a significant other or something, but not like if you were to go into Walmart one day and come out and someone's hit your car, you're on that phone to everybody you're not going to believe what happened to me today.
Yes.
Isn't that correct for most humans?
Yes.
And it's like, why not share the other? Because we're so trained, I guess, for lack of a better word, to not talk about ourselves. That's considered conceited, or we're gloating or whatever, but absolutely not. That needs to happen more.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got such a good point too, and even, your surgery could have been one of those stories that you could have held on to in a negative way,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you clearly have not done that. It also shows the power of choosing what you're holding on to and what you're not, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
here's a funny thing I'll share with you.
Oh,
I
good.
went to the doctor on Tuesday of last week.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, the 31st was my 6th week, but he was out for the week. So my appointment was on the 8th,
Mm-hmm.
which I love the 8. I love that number. But as I'm sitting in there, he asked, "Do you have any questions?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "Can I go dancing?" "Oh, well, it depends on what kind, this and that." And I said, "Okay, what about traveling?" "Well, I don't know if you want to, the overhead bin, you might have to have someone put your suitcase up." "Okay, what about being on a boat?" "Well, it depends on what kind of a boat and who's driving and if they're drinking."
Oh my
And then I said, "Well, what about golfing?" "No, probably not any golfing now." I said, "Okay, well, this was in the wrong order." But first I said, "Can I hold my grandbaby?" Because I've not been able to hold him for 2.5 months. And he's like, "Yes, you can. And your grandkids can hug you without feeling like they're hurting you." So I got that out of the way and then started asking about all the other stuff. And so we finished. My mother was with me. We finished. We went out. I went to her house and then we went for lunch. And as we're traveling to lunch, I looked at her and I said, "I didn't even ask him if I could get back to work and do massages." I'm like, you could tell where my mind
It all tells you what's important, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, except for the fact that I act like I'm retired and I'm not. I do need an income, but that wasn't even a question for me.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, I'm sure that you could probably go on the circuit of talk shows and make some money that way.
Yeah, really.
You're just shifting your profession now, that's all.
Right.
It's a good time to do energy work, which isn't so physical, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I've been doing that throughout. I've been doing my Journey into You, the emotional healing work that I do, and also a hands-on technique called Downregulate. That's a pain relief technique, and it's not intrusive for me or my clients. So I was able to do a little bit of that throughout, and I'm grateful for that, the knowledge of both of those. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I just thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story with us. And especially for the month of joy, January being the month of joy, I so appreciate this. Oh my gosh. Is there anything else that you wanted to add that you think would benefit people on their journeys, their hard journeys of life?
Just remember to do, like you and I have both said, to create not so much the intention, but create the vibration ahead of time that you would like to experience, and ask people to participate with you. For me, that was 2 words: empowering and powerful. It was empowering to me because that's something, as we said, or I said, that most of us humans wouldn't do. Ask people to share, wonderful things they feel about you. So for me, that was empowering to step up and do that. And the results of having done that were very powerful, and still are. I'm still hearing things that people are experiencing from having focused on that vibration.
Nice. That is just fabulous. And you're right. It's something we all need to do, regardless of if we're in a healing crisis or not.
Right. Yes. Any situation in life. So.
Oh, wow.
One funny thing, because it was through December as well, I had a lot of people say, "Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how many Christmas decorations I had that said joy or spelt the word joy," or
Oh,
so it was
nice.
popping up everywhere for people.
Oh, and that's how it is, That's what I've noticed
Yes,
too in this month. The numbers of people that have mentioned the word joy or the ways that I see it. And oh my goodness, the stories people are sharing, it really is infectious.
it really is. And the other morning, I typically don't watch the news. I had it on because the bank I have that I go to was robbed.
Oh,
So I had it on that morning. And I don't know if it was the Today Show or something that came on afterward. And I didn't catch the name of the book or anything, but it was an Oriental woman. I believe she was Chinese and has written a book about like cleaning out your closet, your space, and organizing to
mhm.
create joy. She said
Oh,
and that was it. She said when you look in your closet, if something you're looking at doesn't bring you joy, it's time to eliminate it. And I thought,
oh,
oh my goodness.
I love it. Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to find that book.
Yeah, so it was amazing. She goes around and helps people. She doesn't speak very well, very good English.
Mhm.
So they had someone go along with her to people they hire. She comes to your house or, whatever. But in the kitchen, the kitchen cabinets everywhere in your house, she'll help you to organize it. But the key was if you look at it and it doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. I'm going to go clean out my closet right now.
Right? So yes, the final thing is joy is everywhere.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, DebbieJo. This has just been so inspiring. I just so appreciate you taking the time to share your story with the world and to help inspire everybody with joy and to raise the vibration of the planet as a result. Thank you so much. And
Thank
for
you for asking me, Phoenix. I
oh,
appreciate it.
oh my goodness, it was a story begging to get out. And
Okay.
if you, the audience, would like more experiences with joy, there is a link below this recording where you can join us. Every month we have a different theme. As I said, January is joy, February is love. So I'll be doing an interview with a lovely woman by the name of Robin, who she talks to flowers and she has you select flowers and then she does a reading based on the flowers that you've chosen. Because the flowers are all talking to her. It's a very fascinating story. And she loves, of course, what she's doing. She loves to share her work with others and she loves flowers. How does it get better than that? So be
Right.
looking
I
for
love
that.
that story.
Oh, wait till you talk to her or wait till you listen to her. She is just amazing. She's going to do a little reading on the interview too. So maybe we can even do that live. That would really be a kick. All right.
That would
Well,
be.
thank you so much, DebbieJo. I so appreciate you. And let's stay in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks.